You know, the most revolutionary ideas, they don't always come from a boardroom or some fancy design studio. Sometimes they come from just watching something, somewhere, completely unexpected. Today, we're diving into the story of the Audi Quattro, a car that really did change the game. And believe it or not, it all started on a snowy road in Finland with a military Jeep. Let's get into it.
It's a great question, right? Because when you think about it, a clunky, no-frills military Jeep has absolutely nothing in common with a sleek, high-performance sports car. But the connection between them, it wasn't about power or looks. It was about solving a fundamental problem that one vehicle had already figured out and the other was about to perfect.
All right, so let's set the scene. The year is 1977. We're way up in the icy, remote landscape of Finland. This is where Audi is doing its usual cold weather testing, and it's right here, in the middle of nowhere, that this little spark of genius happens.
So this is the moment. Picture this. An Audi engineer, Jörg Benzinger, is out there watching these powerful Audi sedans just struggling for grip, spinning their tires, going nowhere fast in the deep snow. But then he sees this little Volkswagen Iltis. It's a military Jeep with a tiny engine, just chugging along totally unstoppable, like the snow isn't even there. The Iltis wasn't fast, not at all, but it had traction. And that's when the light bulb just flickered on. What if? What if you could take that incredible all-wheel drive grip and combine it with real sports car power? That one single idea, born from watching a Jeep in the snow, set off a complete chain reaction. The engineers back at Audi, led by visionaries like Jörg Benzinger, immediately got to work on a concept that was about to shake up the entire car world. So what did they call this radical new creation? They kept it simple, powerful. The Quattro. It's just the Italian word for four, for the four-driven wheels. But it was so much more than a name. It was a statement. Today, that original model is so legendary, people call it the Ur-Quattro. Ur is German for original, the first of its kind. And what's just wild is how fast this all happened. From that moment of inspiration in '77, it took them just 3 years to unveil a full-blown production car. On March 3, 1980, the world saw the Quattro for the first time in Geneva, and by the end of that same year, people were actually driving them. That is an unbelievable pace for something so completely new. Okay, so here's the key. Why was this such a big deal? I mean, four-wheel drive wasn't new. Trucks have been using it for decades. But nobody, and I mean nobody, had ever managed to successfully combine it in a production car with a powerful turbocharged engine sitting up front. That was the magic recipe. It was the promise of a true sports car's speed with the go-anywhere grip of an off-roader. Look, having a radical idea for a road car is one thing. Proving it actually works is a whole other story. And to really cement its place in history, the Quattro had to go to the toughest place on Earth for a car, the brutal, unforgiving stages of the World Rally Championship. And this is where timing is just everything. It's like the stars aligned. Right as the Quattro was being developed, the folks who make the rules for motorsport changed them to allow four-wheel drive cars in rallying. It was a perfect storm. The competition, with their powerful rear-wheel drive cars, had no clue what was about to hit them. Audi didn't just show up. They were about to take over. And the results? Oh man, they were immediate and they were absolute. The Quattro didn't just compete, it dominated. It won the Manufacturers' Championship in '82, the Drivers' Championship in '83. But it didn't stop there. It went on to conquer the legendary Pikes Peak hill climb in America. Then it switched to pavement and took on the Trans Am Series, and then it even won the German DTM touring car title. It proved, once and for all, that four-wheel drive was the future of performance cars. And to do all that, the rally versions were just absolute monsters. The road car was already impressive with around 200 horsepower, but the purpose-built Group 4 rally car, that was a whole different animal, pushing over 300 horsepower from that incredible 5-cylinder turbo engine. That raw power, hooked up to that unbreakable traction, well, that was the recipe for a legend. All of that success on the world's rally stages created this massive halo effect. All of a sudden, everyone wanted the car that was dominating the toughest races on the planet, and the version you could actually buy, the road car, became a total icon. And get this, over its entire 11-year run, from 1980 all the way to 1991, only 11,452 of these original Ur-Quattros were ever built. That's a tiny number. It really tells you this wasn't some mass-produced car. It was a special, high-tech machine for people who were serious about driving.
And of course, the car didn't stand still, it evolved. The original engine was a 2.1-liter 10-valve unit with a very respectable 197 horsepower. But by the end of its life in '89, it had been upgraded to a more advanced 2.2-liter 20-valve engine. That bumped the power up to 217 horsepower and pushed the top speed to 230 kilometers an hour.
The design changed in subtle ways too. The first cars had a pretty classic dashboard with analog dials, but that was soon replaced with this super futuristic, at least for the time, digital LCD display. On the outside, the biggest change came in 1985 when they updated the front with a sleeker, more sloped grille and single-piece headlamps.
And the car magazines at the time, they totally got it. They understood what made the Quattro so incredible. This quote from Autocar back in '81 just nails it. It wasn't just about speed and a straight line. It was about the unbelievable confidence its grip gave you, especially when the weather was bad. It made you feel like a hero behind the wheel.
So the last Ur-Quattro rolled off the assembly line in 1991. But that was not the end of the story, not even close. Its impact was so huge that Quattro stopped being just a model name and became a fundamental part of Audi's entire brand. Just look at this number. It is staggering. By the end of 2009, Audi had sold over 3 million cars with its Quattro all-wheel drive system. So what started as one revolutionary car had grown into a core technology that you could get across their entire lineup, from small sedans to big SUVs.
So to celebrate 30 years of this amazing technology, Audi did something really cool. They created a special anniversary package. It was a brilliant way to honor the spirit of that original car and let a whole new generation of drivers be a part of the legacy.
And it was a really great deal for customers. They bundled a ton of popular features together and offered them at a big discount, making the whole celebration something that people could actually go out and buy. And what did you get in the package? Well, it was all the good stuff that really highlighted what the Quattro name had come to mean. Beautiful leather, big alloy wheels, special paint jobs, all the things that celebrated 3 decades of performance and innovation. And through the years, Audi has also tipped its hat to the original, with some absolutely stunning concept cars. From the wild mid-engine Spider back in '91 to the more modern tributes in 2010 and 2013, these cars just go to show how powerful and timeless the original Quattro idea really is. So when you boil it all down, the Quattro story is about a brilliant engineering solution to a really clear problem. How do you get a ton of power to the ground without just spinning your wheels? And today, in a world of electric cars with instant, massive torque, that problem of traction is more important than ever. So it leaves us with this question. What do you think the next great leap forward is going to be? What's the Quattro moment for our electric age?